Hello and welcome to episode 334 of the Should Have Played This Game podcast for the 23rd of March 2026. Third of the year done. 9 months to go.
What? It's this fourth podcast of the year.
And only the third or fourth podcast of the year or something. So, it's been a while. We've had some real life stuff going on, so hence why we haven't been on the airwaves for recently. But we are back. And we're here for a podcast. You've been doing some streaming, so that's all up and running as well.
Yep.
We may get back to some sort of video stuff next week. We'll see how things go. Maybe Split Fiction, get back to finishing that off. Or do something completely different that comes up between now and then. Who knows? But for now...
by the ghosts of podcast past. Because it all broke before you started.
Yep. But until then, what have you been playing in the last 4-ish weeks?
4 weeks? Hey, would it surprise you to learn I've been playing video games? Weird, right? I get this is a video game podcast, but whatever. Super Battle Golf is a very simple, largely multiplayer golf game. You can play it single player. Apparently, it was made in like 5.5 months. And mechanically, it does show that because it's quite simplistic. But it is so much fucking fun, particularly when you're playing with someone that you know and you're like just talking shit. And so me and a mate of mine have played about, the playtime says 6.5 hours. About 6 of that was with a friend. And at least half of that time, we're just pissing ourselves laughing. Like just going, hey, check this out. Get fucked. Bang. And it took a bit of manipulation to like going into, because there's a bunch of weapons you can get during a hole. So it's golf. It's quite simple. You hold the left trigger to go into a golf swinging stance, right trigger to swing, and you get weapons, including golf carts, and you can see an orbital beam in the back of this whoop. While this incredible avatar is grinning into the camera while holding a cup of coffee. And it's just it's kind of Mario Kart, but golf. There is more content coming because right now there are 4 biomes that have about 9 holes each. And there's a few more weapons, items, and some customization options that are coming because they just chucked it out. We're like, this is something we felt like doing. We're going to throw it out there. And it's actually done gangbusters for them. And deservedly so, I think, because it is the simplicity powered with the chaos makes it really fun. You can play it as a straight normal golf game without the items and weapons. There is one part I forgot to mention. Unless you turn it off, you can also hit your opponent's ball.
Oh, okay.
So you could either walk up to their ball and whack it out of bounds, and then it just bounces off their head, which a friend of mine realized relatively quickly that if you do that around the green and you stand on the hole, the ball will hit your head and bounce in the hole. So I stopped doing that and just hit it back down the fairway, the opposite direction, back to the tee box. That does get a little tiresome, particularly if you're the sort of prick like I am that just takes almost every opportunity to go, hey, check this out, get fucked, whack, and go the other way. But yeah, it's very fun, very cheap too for what it is, $12. We've been chipping away at some of the achievements in bits and pieces, and it's really, I really dig it. It's a good time. Escape from Ever After. It says 0 playtime for the last 2 weeks, but that's because I finished it. The further you get into it, there's some really great writing around an aging pirate and the sort of oh woe is me track that he goes down for a little bit. It goes into the fate of books and stories being ignored or not read and just fading away as well. Just some really interesting little writing hooks. They do have a combat tower that's 100 floors, and it takes a good 2.5 hours to finish it. It's just like, fucking hell. But it is like when I was appropriately leveled for it, it wasn't that hard. It just took time.
Just took time, yeah.
So I've got 20 of the 28 achievements, including the completion of the combat tower. I really liked it. I think what they did with the writing, there's a bit of whimsical exploration of what if storybooks got together and how would they act outside of their sort of allotted roles in their stories. So you get like characters going, I'm the villain in my story, but I'm not a prick at all. And then some of them are absolutely, I'm a prick. And there is some exploration of the corporatization of well-known, well-trod stories. Much like the, let's say, Hollywood's preference for the remake recently, or the last few years.
Could have got an image for me. Just want to get a close-up. Getting Plucky Squire
not quite.
Vibes, not quite, but kind of.
There is a bit of it. It's close to leaning to Paper Mario than it is to Plucky Squire.
Yeah.
But from an art style, I could see why you'd say Plucky Squire, definitely. It had like all the characters. This is old because this little clown guy you don't see at all, and neither is this wheel element. I think that's obviously changed.
So it's turn-based combat. Yeah. Oh, okay.
It to say it's a rip-off of Paper Mario is incredibly harsh. But it's a rip-off of Paper Mario. Like there's literally platforming as you explore the environments, not in a fight. You're doing relatively basic platforming that the camera does sort of because of the positioning of the camera where it is. Like it's sort of presents it somewhat 2D, but you've got the depth of the environments. And trying to platform with that camera is kind of a fucker in spots. Like in this very sort of spot, which is very early on. So trying to nail the jumping into the background. But it's got a really whimsical sort of writing style. And sort of does a really sort of tongue-in-cheek approach to it, to the sort of the approach to stories being forgotten, or the importance of having new stories on top of classics, and what happens when the classics get forgotten, all of that sort of stuff. It's really well done on that front. It's probably maybe a little too Paper Mario in elements, in spots. If you haven't played that or any of those,
that'll be
you're not going to know.
Yep.
But I would also question, there's an extent to which why would you have been appealed to? Why would this game have any appeal if you've never played Paper Mario? Outside of the quality of it, because it is really well done. The music gets pretty repetitive though. Holy crap! I like the exploration a lot. I like the combat for the most part. Although if your two characters get knocked out, i.e., lose all their hit points, it just goes game over. Even though you've got another 3 by the end game, you've got 3 more characters in your party. So you can swap characters when it's your turn, but you can't do that once they've been knocked out.
Oh, okay. There's no sort of okay, gotcha.
So you either have to revive them, or you just go, fuck it, and cop it on the chin and come back. It's a really good sort of RPG-ish type of game. I think it's really well done. Just shy of 24 hours to finish it, and that was doing as much as I could find. It's neat.
Cool.
I played. See, this is the pitfall that happens when we don't have there's a gap between podcasts. I played the Service Land for Marathon.
Okay, yep.
I fucking love the look of it. But it's still an extraction shooter.
Yep.
Which has all the pitfalls of that form.
Which is why I'll probably never play it, because I've known. Like, if you've had a single player campaign, sure, I'd probably look at it, but no, I'm not going to do.
The visual style is incredible. It feels really quite good to play, but if you are married to your loot or the possibility of losing shit that you get, then you are going to have a bad time. So it's one of those games. It's done really quite well since it's came out, which is nice. Because there is a bit of difference between this and Arc Raiders. It's within the same genre, but there's enough of a difference that People who are into arc raiders might not be into this, or you can be into both for different reasons, stuff like that. It's neat. That's about all I can say right now. Love-ish. It's got a really neat. This is a sort of 8-bit platformer style, but it's for the most part they're single screen puzzle, like sort of puzzly platformy type, because the level track is quite long. And I think you start with like 100 lives. It's got a really neat 8-bit style, particularly on the graphic side of it. The music's really quite neat. The act of playing it can be really quite fucked. So there was one-hit death combat that wasn't particularly fun to engage with, because when you hit the enemies, there's no hit stun. They just keep on coming. So you could swing, hit an enemy, they'll just bounce right through it and then hit you, and you're dead, sucked in, ha. And then you get ready to throw something. I had 2 crashes to desktop and 1 soft lock where the game froze, and in trying to relaunch it from Steam, it would not do so. So I had to go in and re-verify the game files in less than half an hour. So the stability of this thing is exceptionally lacking. There's some really clever writing, but it tries to do this really weird sort of randomness to it. Like, check this, and like trying to throw a bunch of different references, writings, jokes, like all that sort of stuff. Like, there's this little guy here that looks like he's from Dragon Quest. And like, the game's not good enough to to maintain that. Like, what triggers, like, went back and played through the same level 4 or 5 times, because there was at least a secret that was notated on the level that I just couldn't find. So I went back and tried it a bunch of times, see if I could find it. I got 5 different cutscenes every time. Like, after finishing, like, every time I'd finished it, I get a different cutscene.
Okay, so it's not story-based stuff. It's just...
There is, though, kind of. I think,
but obviously not from those things if they're different.
No. Like, you're trying to work your way through this castle to find your love. I mean, given the game's called Love-ish. But that's pretty good. It just culminates in an experience that's almost like it's trying to be a meme rather than a fun and enjoyable game. It's like trying to, like, this screen itself. Yeah, it's not bad, but it's emblematic of, like, for the people who can't see it because they're listening to it. It's a sort of illustration of the main character breathing fire with fire in the background, and the sort of dialogue in air quotes, wow, it was so spicy, pie. Which, for a white person to read that out, also comes across as maybe a hair racist. But, like, trying to do that instead of making it a fun and enjoyable game. And there's also, I don't understand what they were going for, but the positivity around it, I also don't understand. Like, there's 18 reviews of this thing on OpenCritic, and the median score is 84.5. The lowest score is a 7. I don't know what they're going for here, and I don't know why people. I'm confused. But one thing I'm not confused by is the quality of Hermit and Pig. So we talked last year about Spindle, where you played a personified, or not personified, but a character that is imbibed by death, and how he had a great little pig. The pig in Hermit and Pig is cooler, because he wears a little beanie and he has glasses, much like the main character, whose name is Hermit. And eventually, Pig starts talking. And he just says some really weird and fucked up things, and he likes getting into fights. It seems rather simple to an extent, because, like, when you have... this little guy's great. You sort of explore the environment. There's an almost Undertale-y type vibe to the overworld exploration. And then you have the combat. This is, I think, before or to get a boost. So your input, largely combat is inputting directions in a time period to button out this combo.
Okay.
And as the game goes on, you get more steps to that combo, which allows you to do more damage. And then you get boosts that allow you to do even more damage based on button combos and things like that. So there's an element where it's relatively simple, but then trying to get that button combination in the time period can be a bit tough. But yeah, okay. So you are the titular hermit, and you have a pig. He's pretty great. You're trying to find mushrooms for yourself, and this is not a spoiler because it's 15, 20 minutes in. You're near a village, but you don't live in the village because you hate people. I very much identify with hermit. So you run into a witch who's looking for a cat, and you have to go find and rescue the cat with a tin of sardines, which leads to some really great interactions. You run into some interns for a truffle hunting business that is serving an absolute dipshit. You find a bunch of weird oddballs, and it's all presented like it was sort of drawn in Microsoft Paint, but it's fucking incredible. The dialogue choice, you have dialogue choices, but if you pick the wrong option, it has stakes, because if you pick the wrong option, you'll make the person you're speaking to cringe, and you'll lose 1 hit point. It's pretty funny when it happens, but like the way the characters, like Pig in particular, develop over the course of the game is really quite neat and quite amusing, and it makes it engaging the whole way through, and it helps that it's fairly short as well. Like I said, the combat's pretty simple. It's not the most entirely original story. It basically boils down to, fuck corporations, which, yep, sure thing. It's fun. It's breezy for the most part. There are a couple spots that are a little bit tough, but like sort of challenging just to get the directions out in time and to do the damage you need to do. But it's not that hard. I think almost anyone should play this. And Pig is way cooler than the pig in Spindle. And his name's Pig. What could be better? I will tell you what could not be better. Remember how I said I don't understand how the reviews for Lovish? This is another game I don't fully understand the reviews for. And it is incredibly positive. 84 right now on average on Metacritic. 85% positive reviews on Steam. Mio, Memories in Orbit. I talked about this last time. Fucking incredible art style with the sort of pencil shading style background work that they did. While Mio looks relatively, for lack of a better term, normal polygonally. The problem becomes there are certain design decisions that make it way more frustrating, I think, than it needs to be. You can't skip cutscenes for bosses when you arrive at them after you die. So you're watching the same 5 to 15 second little cutscene that goes into the boss fight, or just the boss fight rearing up. The map is maybe close to one of the worst I've seen in a game like this. There's definitely a style to it, and you can tell where you are, but trying to figure out how to, because the way in which it notates and presents the different pathways to get to secret areas, it's fucking terrible. It does an awful, and when it's a search action Metroidvania like this, the whole point is to try and find the secret rooms and things like that. When you can't do that, or it makes it more difficult to do so, it just makes it fucking frustrating. And then you get these tremors that EMP a point of health away from you when it happens at some points in the story. But those health points are gained by collecting certain items in the environment. So you go to the effort of collecting these items to get health, and then the game at various points in the story triggers an event and just goes, "Hey, check this out, fuck you," and takes one of those hit points away.
Oh, okay.
And and then because you lose those multiple hit points, bosses require more damage, you have less protection to do what you need to do. It all just sort of tumbles into making itself a way more frustrating experience than it needs to. And that's not even talking about the camera itself. It's trying to do the one-shot style of presentation, kind of like like I always come back to Daredevil and the hallway fight in season 1, which in theory can work really well. Like the God of War with Atreus did it and did it really quite successfully. The problem is, and it's not particularly shown off well in these screenshots, is that the camera itself can be obscured by, or the parts in the environment can obscure the camera. Or it doesn't necessarily position the camera as well, so you can see what's coming. Like it loves itself a platforming sequence and challenge. There's a spot late game called the Crucible that is just longer and longer platforming sections that are more and more fucked. But because of the nature of the platforming, and there's some timing elements, like you need to wait for there's toxic water to go down, platform your way around it before the water comes back up. You combine that with a camera that isn't fully cooperative or has a stylistic idea in mind, but it obscures the game. It ends up being way more frustrating than it needs to. And there's some weird traversal rules that the game doesn't seem to stick by. You get like this spider crawl upgrade, and I don't know the best word for it other than like a toxic sort of alien grass, where if you land on it, you'll get grabbed by these tentacles, you'll lose a hit point, and you'll go back to the start of a section. Sometimes you can walk on, like, sort of spider walk a bit of it. Sometimes you can't. And it's not entirely clear why. It's fucking frustrating because holistically as a package, there's about 70 to 80% of it that's fucking incredible. But the other 20 to 30% are so fucked in different ways because of unusual design choices that you just end up going, nope. Like, I was wanting to try and explore as much as possible and try and maybe hit the true ending, all that sort of stuff. But the nature of the frustration that was introduced by these design choices just made it just a completely unappealing. Because we only have so long free time wise, and I've got fucking so many games that I've bought, again, because I'm an idiot. But why the fuck would I play this and bash my head against a brick wall? Yeah, I could do it eventually, but I'm not having fun with it, so why do it? I did quickly touch base because there's a channel on YouTube that reviews a lot of Metroidvania games. And I commented on his, basically going, yo, how'd you find the Crucible? And he's like, it was rough, but I did it. There's also, it does have a couple of assist, for lack of a better term, mods in the accessibility options, where if you stand on a platform, like a safe platform, long enough, you'll gain a health point back. He used that to get through the Crucible. I didn't think of that because I'm too stubborn to look in those accessibility options outside of the last boss fight for this. So it just, like, 20 hours are incredible, 3 to 5 hours of fuck this. It makes it disappointing. Speaking of no. I was going to say 3 to 5 hours of fuck this because it's not quite that. Although for some reason it doesn't have my time in here, but there's no achievements for this, so that might be why. Jackal. It is pretty much hot. This is a bit earlier in development because some of these UI elements aren't like this. It's Hotline Miami, but instead of being sort of 80s with like a neon-soaked synthwave nightmare and coke, it's the 70s. The Egyptian god Anubis is there for some reason, and the main character loves him some drugs on top of cocaine, like fucking everything that people did in the 70s he does, and then some. But it's basically Hotline Miami. You walk into these environments, you got to kill everyone and get out. It's got a really great aesthetic. There's like some weird chromatic abrasion that happens and things like that that really amplify, hey, your dude's on drugs. But I ran into this level where the confluence of design decisions all came together to make the level way more fucked than it needed to. The biggest one being the cursor, the aiming reticle is, you can see it most of the time, but because all the enemies were wearing white, I was losing the aiming reticle in the fucking environment I went into that level at about 60 or 70 deaths. I eventually finished it with like 240. And at a point I said, fuck this, uninstalled it. And I'm like, no, I'll go back to it. I actually went into the UI options for this, not necessarily assist, but like scaled up the cursor and put an aiming line on it for when you've got a gun. 10 to 15 days later, done. So it's just weird sort of design decisions that just got in the way. But there is that Hotline Miami style of the numbers are all against you, and it's sort of real tense combat scenarios, and you're just white knuckling your way through them. And then you get through them, and it's like, only sometimes they will crown card the levels by having wave upon wave upon wave of dudes just walk in after you think you've killed everyone, which is a bit rough. But I enjoyed it outside of that level. But whatever. Speaking of a game I actually really enjoyed, I do play them sometimes. Tierscape. This is not on OpenCritic. Developed and published by a team. I don't know. Nerds Take Over. At least one of them is fairly active on the Steam discussion boards, which is nice. It's both a demake of Bloodborne and a top-down search action Metroidvania game, kind of like Pipistrello and the Cursed Yo-Yo. It's fucking great. It's really, if you can't tell from the screenshots here, it's very 8-bit in its style and its sound. But you know how sometimes you get those 8-bit games where the gameplay doesn't match up? It's very modern. Yeah, this doesn't do that. This sort of adheres to the rigidity of that 8-bit style and sort of works out really well for it. Like to the point where it probably wouldn't run on an NES, but you're very much almost confused into thinking that it could. The narrative's incredibly opaque. You're this hunter who's this little guy here holding the shield in this screenshot. You are hunting monsters. I don't know what else there is. There's a bit of backstabbing tomfoolery towards the end. I don't exactly know it. The ending is really bare bones. But for me, I'm not necessarily in those sorts of, particularly the Souls-like, I'm not necessarily as into those for their story. I know a lot of people get really into the lore of those. I'm there for the gameplay, and the gameplay is like up front and central in this. It's fantastic. It really is really quite fun. Although if you are trying to rush to get the last couple of items or looking up a guide, trying to smash your way through to get the last few items to get 100%, that can be frustrating because it's really easy to fall off shit if you're rushing. There's some inspiration mechanics behind this. And some of the hit detection's a bit off because the nature of its inspirations and the nature of what it's trying to do. I think it's fantastic. I did hit 100% completion. There were 2 achievements I missed that were sort of more narrative moment based that I missed, but otherwise it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite things I've played this year so far, and I've played way too many. Like iRacing Arcade. Hey, you know iRacing? It's like that, but it's an arcade game. It's developed by the same people who made Circuit Superstars and have Karting Superstars in early access. This got hit with a number of delays multiple times before it came out. They've put Karting Superstars on early. They've got that in early access. They put development on hold for that. They needed a money injection, and they got it through this. There's 8 car types / cars. 2 of them are licensed. The first thing you drive is a little Fiat 500, which is a fucking piece of shit. And you get a Porsche GT2. And there's 14 tracks, all but 3, I think, are licensed. So there's Tsukuba, there's the Bahrain International Circuit. A lot of the F1 courses are in here. But because of the nature of the number of cars and the number of circuits, each championship is 6 to 10 races. So holy shit, do you see some of those tracks multiple times. I got through you can see there 13.8 hours, 12.5 in the last 2 weeks, but that's less important. there are some comments of the reason I say that is because it took me 9 hours to get through the first 2 seasons. There's an achievement for completing 7 seasons, and I was like, fuck this. But then I got the achievements for completing I got all of the championship achievements. So I just hired a bunch of AI drivers and just simmed out the last 4 seasons in about half an hour. There are some social media comments from the developers that say that more content's coming, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
But do they embed that in the career mode?
Mm.
The AI driver, if you haven't played an arcade racer before and don't know what AI drivers in those things are like, these are those. They love their line.
Mm.
And they're also some real dirty motherfuckers too sometimes. I had multiple times where I was in front of them. And because the nature of the camera is that sort of position third person, you can sort of see them behind you on your ass trying to swing out and knock you and pitch you. And it happened a few times as well. I'm like, you dirty fuckers. You do have to pit from time to time. And you get some buffs that really help your in the career mode. So sometimes you can just have like plus 12 engine power.
Okay.
Or you can have plus 80 grip on the first lap. So you just absolutely sticking to the track, which is really funny because I had one where it was quite turn heavy and the car was incredible, like really powerful. So I had plus 90 grip because I had another bonus that gave me plus 10 grip. So, you know, when you see a basketball player try and change directions, but the rest of the body doesn't follow, and it just goes wee, and you roll sideways. The car did that like multiple times to me. I like it. I think 3650 is a bit much. I think it does get repetitive because of the number of tracks and stuff in there. But if they do up that number and embed that into the career mode, well, it's going to be really quite worth it. But yeah, it's fun. And it says chocolate milk instead of chocolate milk. That's pretty neat. I've got way too much written down about this game to the point where I don't think there's a part of me that doesn't think it deserves it. The perfect pencil. I've got just shy of 10 hours in it, which is about half the time based on various things I've seen between 18 and 20. I don't understand how the reviews for this are as positive as they are either, because it's incredibly esoteric and opaque in its story. Like, you're this little guy here. Is my mouse showing on? I can't tell. The little guy here, where he wakes up and for some reason gets a camera planted on his head, or where his head should be, because it needs a way for the scarf to stay on. Okay. And then all the other characters are weird sort of representations of mental illness, and then they talk a whole lot and say a whole lot, but don't actually say much at all. So like you're trying to escape her kingdom. I don't know who that is. You can use the camera to scan certain parts of the environment, to reveal sort of secrets, or some. And it seems to be sort of this sleep, or sort of the idea of commenting on people's dreams, because most of the enemies are varying forms of sort of like using sleep elements. Like you get guys wrapped in pillows or sort of dressed in pillowcases. There's a dude that's wrapped in a mattress that rolls at you and back and forth. And there's a bigger guy that hides in a big stack of pillows and throws those pillows at you. But it's really sort of inconsistent, particularly from the platforming. Much like Meier, or similar to Meier, the camera gets in the way too much. Like, it doesn't keep you centered as well as you want, because it's trying to obscure some of the other pathways you can go. So if you decide you're going one direction, I'm going to change direction, go the other way, the camera doesn't quite realize it until you're like at the edge of the screen bounds.
Okay. Yeah.
Which you can then sometimes accidentally run into shit. There's the section I hit that just got me to go, fuck this. It does the thing that other games I've seen do this, where if you're not in a safe area, it proceeds to get darker and darker around you. until the darkness encompasses you, and then it respawns you back in that safe area. Only problem is there's a bunch of fucking platforming obstacles that get in the way, don't they?
Mm.
So you can easily walk into those. And the map is generally pretty good, except for this section, because it's just the outline of the bounds, not the individual sort of platforms or pathways that the rest of the game actually does. So it's one of the biggest things that piss me off is when a game doesn't abide by or adhere to its own rules or philosophies.
Or at least doesn't explain why in this particular case it's different. Like it gives a story reason or whatever reason to go against it. But if it doesn't, then it just becomes, well, why is it different? Yeah.
It's like you're in the deepest, darkest depths of, I guess, the human psyche, maybe. But even then, it doesn't do a good job of it. Combat's pretty solid. It's a little basic. The navigation is fine, but it's incongruous with the art style. Like, you look at the model of the character and the sort of level design, but you jump way higher than you think you should. And it's not particularly responsive, like trying to do multiple jumps in a row. Not that there's many times for that. It's like clearly a passion project for the developers. And I applaud them for it. The art is fucking fantastic. I love the fucking look of it. This art style is fantastic. But playing it, much like Meier, there's a part of it where they tried maybe in trying to adhere to, I guess, expectations around difficulty. They've tried making design decisions that just get in the way in a way that's just not fun. I could say more, but I don't want to anymore. Galactic Vault. I bombed out that I forgot to mention Dead Zone Rogue during Game of the Year. Because I played nearly 50 hours of that over the break we had. About half of that with a mate of mine, and that thing's fucking fun as hell. This is kind of like a Temu version of that. Which, it might be incredibly harsh to say it like that, but it's literally a first-person shooter that's in that roguish format. You go through rooms, you get upgrades between rooms for varying, like magazine, muzzle, all that sort of stuff. You're meant to unlock blueprints at the end of a run because there's, I think, two different. There's starting pistol, SMG, shotgun, and you unlock a sniper rifle and an assault rifle. There's generally 3 in each category. You're meant to get blueprints for them. I had 5 completed runs of, actually, between 6 and 8 completed runs of the first 2 difficulties of runs, and didn't unlock a new blueprint, a new gun. So I was like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, the currency that I get at the end of it is only to craft and unlock these new guns. So if I'm not getting them, what the fuck is the point? It's a shame because it feels really fun to play. And I really dug the demo, but then between the demo and the full game coming out, I played a lot of Dead Zone Rogue, which kind of ruined this type of game for me in some ways because of how good that thing is. And then Neo 3.
Yep.
A year after Assassin's Creed Shadows featured both Hanzo Hattori and Oda Nobunaga, they're back in the Neo 3. So basically, it takes the menu-driven mission selection of the first 2 Neo games, puts you in an open world, and says go. It's a great little twist in the structure. The map is annotated really quite well, and there's a progression to the map in each location, where it'll reveal the whole, like, because of your first level on the each region, it just goes, here's the map. Once you go to certain places, it'll show you some things. Second level is, here's the whole area. Third is, here's some observation points. And then fourth is, here's where all the secret shit is. Which is really neat, particularly when you compare it to Elden Ring, where Elden Ring just goes, here's the map. Go fuck yourself. Which I really liked that for the exploration, because this can feel a little checklisty of, I just need to go here, do this, and move on. They've added some new techniques and mechanics. So there's both a samurai and ninja style, which you change with the right trigger. Instead of being able to use all the weapons, the samurai can use some of them, the ninja can use the others. There's some parries that are attached to that. But you take the Neo approach to Souls-like combat, you put it in an open world, and I'm fucking enjoying the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd have thought? That's it. That be the games I've played for the last 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some other stuff I've played on video. Those are up on the YouTube channel.
Mm.
Although I accidentally got last night the Saturday version of Friday Night Fun partially blocked in Russia and Belarus because I played the Crew Motorfest, and that had some music that for some reason it doesn't want people in Russia or Belarus to hear. I put a dispute in on that. I'm like, what the fuck, man? So we'll see. But yes, that's me.
Right.
How about you?
Me? Well, The Outer Worlds 2. I've got back into that. I'm still enjoying that game. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm not really sure where the story is going at this point. It's like the opening part of that game. You're on a mission, quote unquote, that ends up going pear-shaped because someone basically backstabs you, and then you've got options to try and chase them down and either kill them or not kill them and that kind of stuff. So I'm not really sure where the story's going ultimately, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless. Gameplay's really good. The gameplay's just like solid as it is from the previous game, so it's good gameplay. Shooting solid, all that kind of stuff.
I want to ask you a question about that person, but I don't know if I ask it if it spoils too much for you.
Well, wait till I finish it, then ask me.
All right. It's more, yeah.
Because I don't know where I am, where you would where that point is, so no point. So yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying a lot of it. It's got some pretty damn good writing in it, as the game is, as a sort of I'll say the series is only 2 games in it, but technically it's a series, but yeah, it's got good writing in it. Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So little side stuff you do that's not main quest stuff is probably some of the better stuff to actually do, because the main quests are kind of, they're long-winded, but they're not like you're doing it in short chunks, but they're long. Lots of change of things you're doing.
They're also kind of rote too.
Oh yeah, they are. I mean, that's
a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But in terms of just doing the main, like the little side quests, they're small, concise things that are really kind of neat. So yeah, I'm enjoying that a lot. Generation Exile is a game that is not out just yet. No, sorry, it is out. It's out in early access, I should say. And it's been on my wish list for a while, and they've got a demo came out, which is what I played, as a part of the current Next Fest, which I assume is still going. I think it is.
The Next Fest has ended about 2 weeks ago.
No, it's not. Must have been. Okay, something else is going on now.
There's a spring sale on now.
No, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, so part of the Next Fest, there's a demo I put out, which I'm assuming is still available. It's a city build. It's a city builder. And sort of base build, all that kind of stuff. I don't know how to describe this. I had some weird issues with it in terms of what you were trying to do moment to moment, and I think, let's see if I can. Too sure there's anything that kind of shows you what it is. So it's hex based in terms of you're plonking down stuff that are hex based on a hex grid or whatever. You can only put certain things on certain tile platforms, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But when so here, I can't really see it here. There's not something showing it. This one, no, none of these are showing what I want to show, so it doesn't matter. Let's go back to that. So you're putting down things like water extracting things. That when they get to the end of their what they can extract, you can demolish them, but then you've got to have something else built to get rid of the rubble left by demolishing them.
Okay.
Which kind of makes a little bit of sense, but the problem is I've found it too. Probably punishing is the answer I can come up with. If you get to a point where you put down 3 or 4 of these in quick succession because you need water to make things happen, all at the same time they're all going to go, oh, I'm run out. I've now got to demolish all 4 of them, and then you've got to have the ability to have the production facilities built to get rid of that rubble that's left by the demolishing it. And
maybe just punitive more than
punishing.
Like
it just doesn't seem like the fact that these things have a finite resource, which is not really explained why they do, because most of the games you'd like if the ground. I mean, yes, there
Are
are.
they trying to hit like some sort of messaging on renewable
I
resources?
wouldn't. No, I wouldn't have thought so. No.
Oh, okay.
None of that stuff's like none of it's obvious. If that's
So why the fuck did they do it that way? Then?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's not really explained unless I missed it. There's a lot of reading at the beginning of this thing. In fact,
Sweet.
at the very beginning of the game, before you even started, you're doing almost like a story thing, and you're given dialogue choices. I have no idea what dialogue choice to choose here because I've got no context to make them in. So it's just odd things like that it does. Maybe it's a demo that's got stuff missing. So that's why I sort of left it on my wish list for the time being, in case the first one, when it comes out fully, that's got some more stuff around the edges to put some of that stuff into context. But I just found it a little bit, maybe punitive might be a better term, as to you've got a limited space you can build on, but then to build something, like it literally says you need to make things to make water. Okay, plonk them down. Then because you've plucked 3 down in one go, they all expire at exactly the same time, basically, when they're all finished.
What?
Because they're all being used. So they're all being used. And then all 3, then almost within it's all turn-based too, by the way, so it's turn-based. So it's not real time. So
So if they're not going for this sort of communication on or commentary on renewable resourcing, why in the fuck is it so punitive about the rubble left from that?
Yeah, that's what I sort of found. I found some of the, like you mentioned before, design choices.
Incongruity behind the design choices and narrative of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, so I just found it a little bit odd, and that could be just that's the demo. And early access has got more meat on the bones to explain some of that stuff more. But based on the demo, I'm not willing to sort of put the money down to buy the game. So I'll wait till it's out on full access when it's fully available, and then might look into it later. But just didn't quite sit with me right, and I can't really quite put a finger on.
That's the most frustrating fucking thing ever. And I say this as an English teacher. Like, there were parts of Perfect Pencil that I'm like, I can't quite put my finger on why this isn't quite sitting with me. I should be able to find the fucking words to be able to say, this is why, but I can't. It's like,
Under Par Golf Architect. So this is a SimGolf. You might remember SimGolf from...
I do. I remember Golftopia.
More in line with Golftopia. I was going to mention that as well. But not quite as... how would you describe Golf?
Golftopia had a bit more neon to it.
Neon stuff. Like, it was more really like neon stuff and had really weird things you could do with it. But this is just a pure SimGolf successor. Not that it is, but you know what I mean. You basically build your golf holes from tee to green. You put in things like fairways, and you can put water down, bunkers, rough, all that sort of stuff.
Do you get to play the holes?
Yes, you do.
All right.
You then get to play it. I don't know if it's got any screenshots of that thing happening. You've got golf memberships of your club.
Okay.
You've got whereabouts is? I thought I had a screenshot of one before. You've got facilities putting down things like things to make sell water and sell food and that kind of stuff to make money from your golf members that come through. You've also got to hire staff to maintain the greens and maintain the grounds and that kind of stuff. This is a demo of a game not out yet. And just be clear about that. It's later due, not that far away, like a month away. I think there's a fair bit to do with this to get it really, really nailed down to what they're trying to do. There seems to be a lot of weird things happen with the game because it's not really clear. Oh, that one, see there, bottom left-hand corners, there's the tee for a hole that's probably over here on the far left. These people are just queuing up for it, and they just sit there queuing up for it.
But there's no one on the tee box.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, this is some of the mechanics to make the sort of flow from hole to hole is a bit weird. Some of the design things where you want to lay down, like this thing here is a path. Like obviously it's a path that goes from around this weird path, like weird direction. You try and sometimes you can't lay down paths for reasons the game doesn't explain. And when you put down the path, they don't follow it anyway. So what's the point in putting one down? So I think there's a couple of things like that that are not quite there
I've
yet.
driven golf carts on a golf course. I don't follow the path.
But the act of putting things down and designing the holes is really fucking neat. It's very close to SimGolf from years ago. SimGolf, for those who don't know, was a game made by all companies. EA, put out by EA. God, that's got to be. How old is that? That's got to be.
Yeah, SimGolf was, I want to say 99, but
I'm probably 98, 99. I would have said 98, 97, something like that.
02.
Oh, wait, I was actually later than that. Okay, so it was 02. Okay.
Sid Meier's SimGolf.
You know, Sid Meier's, yes, it was that guy. He does all the that stuff.
I don't think he made SimCity, did he?
But yeah, like that game was awesome. When it was out, it was an absolute awesome game. But you can't get SimGolf anymore. Not legally, I should say.
There you go.
So yeah, there's been nothing like it since. Golftopia kind of came close, but not really.
It's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, because this SimGolf was whimsical. It was just really really kind of cute and funny, cute and cuddly kind of stuff. This is kind of going for the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
You've got your usual stuff. You've got your money you're trying to raise through memberships of your club you're building, and money they spend on the course itself at the very shops and stuff. You can host tournaments of some sort. By all accounts, I think you can probably be playing them as well. I'm not too sure about that though. So it's got a lot of things that are like SimGolf, because SimGolf had that sort of thing. You're playing in the actual tournaments that it had and stuff like that. The golf play is relatively, as you can imagine, for a game that's more around the architecture, fairly simplistic. But it is kind of neat. So I really was hoping this was going to be good. And for the most part, it's like 95% of the way there kind of thing. It's just got a couple of weird things around the outside that are a bit odd. So when this game comes out in full in about a month's time, I think we'll probably do a check out of it, just to play through it all. But yeah, I
think I've got it on my wish list as well. There is a petition to bring it to GOG, SimGolf to GOG. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's really neat. Like you've got all your that sort of like where players are hitting the ball.
How in depth is the financial management? Because there is that screenshot, the last one I think.
Yeah,
where it has that.
Yeah, so
that's have to fuck around with finances a lot, or
there's not been a lot of that. Like members just become members. You don't set membership prices as far as I've done so far. You've got like goals you're trying to do here.
Yep.
Top left hand corner, like trying to get to there's levels around there's ratings per hole. Like you get I don't know if they have that on any one of these. Was there? No, unfortunately they don't have it. But they do ratings per. Oh, that might be it. No. So you've got ratings per hole to basically say.
Oh, it's got a design score.
Design score? Where are you seeing that? Oh, yeah.
Where it's got size, par, design score.
Yeah, so you've got things like it gives you an accurate rating, A, B, C kind of rating as well. So it says for goals like the top left hand corner, like challenges, get a hole that's a par 4 that's a A+ rating kind of a thing. And not sure you get anything from that at the moment, but it's probably part of the progression through the tutorial kind of thing.
Does it at least tell you what it wants a A+ hole to look like?
Not really from what I can tell. Also, the land you get, none of these screenshots really show it, but when you first start, your plot of land that you're building on. So there's two modes. There's a sandbox mode, which I didn't actually jump into, and a full-on, might have even been a career mode of some sort, or like an owner mode, because you're really owning a golf course. You're not running a career, but you're not playing career's not as a player, as an owner of the golf.
You're not career as a greenskeeper.
Yeah, you're career as an owner of the club and all that sort of stuff. So that sort of career. And so you've got those two modes, but the money's just what you earn. Like there's not a real lot of, there's no setting of how much how much the players are being charged for rounds of golf or the food or something like that. You can hire staff. You'll need to hire staff to keep things maintained and stuff. But yeah, I think it's really neat and has a lot of potential, and looking forward to it. So it's out in a month. So yeah, hopefully it sticks to landing for the most part. And my last one, I played briefly. When I say briefly, seven. I think it was 7 minutes basically. I'd not played Eidolon for a good 3 to 4 weeks, so I just opened up to see what it had done while I was away, and got presented with. I should have taken a screenshot of it. I'd earned 46 million XP while I was away.
There you go.
And went from like level 27 to 63 or something.
Fucking A, the numbers keep going up.
Keep going up. So I then spent that little 5-minute playtime was in there figuring out what the hell was I doing in this thing, and what have I got to do with all the points I've now got to upgrade the character. So I just did that for a bit and closed it, haven't been back to it. So
there you go.
I was just curious. I was just curious what it had done while I was away. So killed 47,000 enemies or something silly like that. So yeah, it was kind of neat to see what it had done while I was away. But that game's kind of neat. I kind of like what that game's doing, but it's not something I want to spend a lot of time playing per se. But it's interesting what they've done there. And that's me.
Word.
So not a real lot for me. Yeah, real life gets the way a fair bit. So
yes.
But that's it. Let's jump into this thing. Alright, we have got the YouTube channel where there's a Friday night stream and a Saturday one as well, I think. So they've
Friday
gone up in the last...
Saturday version back, both up there.
They've
unless
gone
you're
up
in Russia or Belarus.
They've gone up in the last couple of days. We will we'll be back hopefully next week with some sort of video, probably split fiction. Could be something else if something crops up every now and then. We will also be back in a fortnight again, all things being equal, with another podcast.
If we were smart, or if I had thought of it, we could have looked at the upcoming games for April, but I didn't think of that.
Neither did I, so let's just leave it for now. We'll do that in a week, do that in a fortnight.
Always good to point that out.
Yep. And so then, that's probably wraps us up. Anything from you, sir?
No. Twitch.tv/Enemy Starship.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a follow. You'll get a notification when I go live to do dumb shit, or say dumb shit, or play dumb shit. At some point, I'm going to play Kong Skull Island. Which is apparently fucking terrible. Or maybe I just need to bite the bullet and play that on Friday just to say, fuck it. All right, it's finally done. I can get rid of it. Yeah.
All right, until all that shenanigans, we'll be in hopefully in a week, if not 2 weeks. Bye-bye.